I have the Volantex Mini Mustang P51D Miss America version. It's another 400mm Warbird. I think that this is one of the best flying 400mm Warbirds that I've had in the air, and I'll tell you why. Let's look at the specs first, and I want to show you, what you get in the box. So you get the plane. Everything is assembled on the plane except for the landing gear. The landing gear just slots in. Mine even had one of the two blade props already attached to it. The transmitter does require 4 AA batteries, which you need to provide, but it comes with 2 4-blade props. It comes with 2 2-blade props. It comes with a USB charger. It comes with the landing gear. That's showing 2 batteries here, but I actually received the 3-battery version. This is courtesy of Banggood. I thank you much for sending this for review, Banggood. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's look at the specs. It's ready to fly. It's made out of EPP foam, which is the most durable foam I've come across. It's a 400mm wingspan, which is 15.75 inches. The length is 317mm, which is 12.48 inches. It's a 2.4 gigahertz 4-channel remote control. It has a 6-axis gyro. It has a control range of 300 meters, and this gets really, really tiny at 300 meters. You're not going to want to fly it 300 meters away. Comes with, mine came with 3 1S, 400 milliamp hour, 20 C LiPos. It says flight time of 10 minutes, and I think that's pretty accurate. Now, the flight that I'm going to show you here in a minute it was a very windy conditions. When I first got out there, it was around 6 to 8 miles per hour. And then it started gusting up to 10 miles per hour, and then by the time I got the 3rd battery pack in it, it was well over 10 miles per hour on the gust, and I would say sustained it was at least 7 to 8 miles per hour. So the plane handled it just fine. I was able to hover this plane. I was able to use the stunt button and do loops, and it would actually do rolls stationary while it was hovering. This is the best, I think this is the best Warbird I have seen so far performing the automated stunts. It does. Most of these planes will do loops with authority, but this plane actually did rolls with authority. It was very quick on the rolls with the stunt button. So 10-minute flight time, I say, yeah, you're going to get every bit of that. It's got the propeller saver, which I like because it saves the motor and the gearbox from damage. You get 3 different modes on the gyro. Beginner mode, which is the most restrictive. Although I have to say, this plane has the tightest turn radius in beginner mode, I think, of any of these little planes that I've put in the air. If you give this plane full aileron and full rudder, it is an extremely tight turn, which really surprised me even in beginner mode. And you will see that demonstrated in this flight session. But you can fly this in an extremely small area. That's not going to be a problem. In intermediate mode, it's less restrictive. You do get a lot more pitch authority in intermediate mode over beginner mode, although beginner mode gives you plenty of authority with the aileron and with the rudder. That is not a problem. It's just a lot less pitch authority in beginner mode. You can do loops, manual loops in intermediate mode, but not rolls. And then you get expert mode, which is no assist from the gyro, complete manual mode, and I tried all 3. Clear canopy, scale detail. So it seems like every new generation of these planes that comes out, there's more and more detail on these planes, and I really like the clear canopies with the pilot figures in them. It looks a lot more realistic for the plane, a lot more detail, rather than just having a painted foam bubble on the top of the fuselage. It'll give you a low battery alarm and an overrange alarm. So if you get too far away with it and the RSSI signal on the radio and the receiver gets too low, it will beep you. If you have a low battery in the transmitter or the plane, it will beep you. So those are nice features. All right, and here you can see that if you have a flyaway, the whole family needs to run as fast as they can to catch the plane. No, I'm just kidding. All right, it does make a good gift, guys, and Mother's Day is coming up, so, get your mom one, go flying together. That's what I would do. All right, so you get 2 maintenance ports. So you get, this foam cover comes off right behind the servo control horn for the ailerons. That comes off so you can get to the receiver, you can get to the servos. You've got a little foam cover in the front so that you can get to the motor if you need to replace the motor. It's got 2 screws that holds the motor in, so makes it a lot easier to perform maintenance and do repairs and replacements on these planes. I like the fact that they're doing that now, because you used to have to cut the foam to be able to get these components. So that's great. It does show 2 ports here. Now, I don't know if those are functional. I couldn't find any information on it. It doesn't state in the manual if you can add an external receiver to it. I can tell you that it does use the V761 protocol with a sub-protocol of 4-channel. And if you have a multi-protocol transmitter that supports the V761 protocol like my TX16S does, you can bind up to it, because I have bound up to it. Next time I take it out, I'm going to be flying it with the Radiomaster TX16S. It does have a 1-key return function. This is not actually a return function, it is a U-turn function. So it's going to turn 180 degrees in the opposite direction from which it was launched, but it is not a return to home. Okay. All right, so let's go out there and test this out in the wind that I had out there during the maiden flight session. I'll see you out there.
Show you how tight of a turn you can make with this. This is fully stabilized mode. Okay, so watch this. All right, so that is full right aileron. Check that out. You see how tight that is? All right, now let's do it. That was to the left. Okay, let's do it to the right now. Look how tight the turn radius is on that plane, and I'm not inputting just aileron there. I'm inputting rudder too. So look at this. It's full aileron, full rudder, and look how tight that is. Okay, and now we'll try it the other direction to the left. Full aileron, full rudder. Okay. How about this? Really does it does stunts with some really good authority. I'm surprised by that. I didn't have a lot of altitude there, guys. When I completed that loop, I'd say it was about 6 to 7 feet off of the ground. Okay, so let's see what else. Let's see if we can do it. There we go. That was left roll, I think. Alright, it's good. Going down. Wait a minute. I'll bring it back up here again. Let's see if we can do it. Okay. Check that out. Look at that. It hardly loses any altitude. Okay, let's get our little Volantex P51D Miss America Warbird in the air. Alright, launching. Oh, well, it's got a pretty good turn radius for I'm not even touching the rudder. It's got a pretty good turn radius for being in beginner mode. Look at that. That is a really good turn radius. You could definitely fly this one in a small area. Back off throttle a little bit. Bring it down a little bit. Wow, that is a nice flying little plane. Awesome. That definitely has enough power to do some decent loops. Look at that. Awesome. Now this is in intermediate mode. Definitely have more pitch authority in intermediate mode. Awesome, huh? But that is, I'm flying backwards now. So that is really just a fun little thing, especially with the stunt button. Usually So it looks to me like they've really enhanced the stunt button on this little plane. Let me bring it back up here and see if I can get a roll out of it again. That is really neat. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I rolled both ways, left and right, and it didn't lose any altitude. And I'm coming in some significant wind now. It feels like I've got 5 to 6, at least I would say right now. 5 to 6 miles per hour wind. That is really cool, guys. That is a neat little plane. Very, very stable in beginner mode and in intermediate mode. Let's see if we could hover it here. Just keep it pointed into the wind. Yeah, check that out. So I'm not having any problems hovering it in a 5 to 6 miles per hour wind. I'm sure you guys can hear it in the microphone. So now we are in manual mode. It's kind of in the wind. It's kind of, let's see here. Check that out. It's kind of a handful in this kind of wind. So if we could do a loop with it, cool. Let me see if I could bring it down a little bit without crashing it. I got my finger on the trigger here. I think this would be awesome. There's not enough resolution on the sticks for me with the ailerons. The ailerons are really, really twitchy in manual mode for me anyway. See if I can bring it back over here again. Yeah, that's kind of twitchy for me. Bring it down. In full manual mode. What do you guys think? Do a loop? Or roll with it, I mean? Alright, should we do a loop? If I can get it lined up here into the wind. Alright, I just pulled it back into gyro mode there. So I had it in full manual mode in this wind for quite a while before I switched it back into fully stabilized mode. Let's see if we can set it down. Oh, and we flipped over. that is a fun little plane. I really like this. One more time, let's bring it back around here. I don't know if my wind is shifting. I think my wind is shifting on me. I think that's what's going on. Alright, I'm going to bring it down here on this dirt lane. See if I could set it down on the dirt lane. Hey, finally did it. That is a fun little plane. That is a really fun little plane. I really like the paint scheme on this. Alright, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.